started learning this bad boy recently. I thought it was about time I gave my panic attack some rhythm. I love this thing. Autism has been chasing me for a very long time, but I've always been faster. But me and this harmonica have gone through some pretty tough times together. Something I'm quite open about as a comedian is that I've been living with cancer for quite a few years now. Now, doctors would classify it as a glioma on the base of the brainstem. I personally just call it Little Scott. Feels like we do everything together. But harmonicas and hospitals go hand in hand. Oh, for instance, I'd be at radiotherapy. I could just whip out the harmonica and play something like this. I went down to the surgery 'cause I couldn't stop laughing. I said, "Doctor, would you fix my sense of humor?" He said, "No, we just found a brain tumor." You gotta have fun when you're in the hospital, right? I remember during my chemotherapy days, a lot of nurses would always try and lift my spirits. They'd always say fun things like, "Well, hey, at least you get some time away from school." Which was true, but then they hired a maths teacher for the hospital. You know, is everyone having enough fun already? We'd love to see that meeting. Some doctor stands up and goes, "You know what this cancer ward needs? Long division." I'll never forget when I first met this maths teacher. She entered the room with a very Jehovah's Witness energy, but with the cadence of a Triple J announcer. She was all, "Hi, how are we all vibing today? I've just come by to drop off some homework for the week." Now this really rustled my jimmies. Homework in a hospital? I had bigger things on my mind. Mostly the brain tumor, but even still. The next morning, I was going to be having my first major operation, and it could be risky. I remember all the surgeons came by, they're explaining exactly what was going to happen, and they always ask you when you're ready to go in for surgery. I took a few deep breaths, and they began to wheel me out of the room. Then the maths teacher was blocking the doorway. She's back at it again with the whole, "Hi, how are we all feeling this morning? I've just dawdled by to collect that homework that you've done." Now, I've been a terrible student. I haven't done my homework, and look, at this point, she's making me grumpy, just really condensing my milk. But she lets me off the hook. And when I got back from surgery, that maths teacher wasn't there anymore. Yeah, instead they decided to hire a PE teacher for the hospital. You know, really whip us sick kids into shape. Before I go tonight, Raw Comedy, just allow me to end on a positive note. I've been Scott Lleonart, you've been Raw Comedy. Kiss a butterfly, good night.